Hello yogis, my name is April and welcome to the Yoga Ranger Studio and welcome to our practice today. Today we're going to be focusing on a shorter practice for SI or sacroiliac joint care. As many of you may have seen on the channel, there are several practices for that, and I myself have struggled with SI joint issues on and off for probably about 10 years now. So in working with that, I've come up with a few things that tend to make it worse or make the flare-up worse, and that would be poses that are asymmetrical. So one side looks different from the other, in which maybe one leg is turning out and one is turning in. Poses like that tend to put a little bit more pressure on the SI joints, and that often causes a little bit more pain and discomfort. So in this practice, if you are not having a full-on flare-up, and if you are having a full-on flare-up, I really advise taking some time to rest and recover, and working with anti-inflammatory foods to help support you as you recover. But if you are coming out of it or you feel those first few twinges and you still want to practice, here is a practice that you can use to kind of keep your pelvis in alignment and the joints in a stable single direction purpose here. The only thing you'll need for this practice is a rolled blanket. This can be a rolled towel or anything that you can roll up, like a pillow. This may be a rolled pillow as well. Or you could use a couple of blocks if you wanted to use that instead for one of our poses. So we're going to start in child's pose, but a lot of times I'll cue child's pose to have your knees super wide because that's more comfortable for a lot of people. But because we don't want to take a wider position, we're going to take a closed one. So here, if it's more comfortable to have something for underneath your head, you can use that blanket underneath your head. But keeping your knees, the center of your knees in alignment with the center of your hip bones, not going super wide, having sort of a middle ground here, and just starting to lean over. Now the SI joints are on either side of your pelvis. You'll start to feel sort of a point there. If at any point in time you find that coming down here you're good and that's enough for you, feel free to stop here. If you want, you can bring your forehead to that blanket. Walk your hands over it if you want more stretch. I'm just working with a nice deep stretch for the back, the upper back, the lower back, the mid back, without putting too much compression on the SI joints. Taking some nice deep breaths into your belly, filling all the way up and feeling that breath moving into your lower back, right around that space of your sacrum and your sacroiliac joints and your lower back. And exhaling it all out. Here, if you find you want to walk your hands out a little bit further, or make any adjustments, go ahead and make those adjustments here. Lifting up just a little bit, maybe walking your hands over, not quite as far as you maybe normally would, but just a little bit over to the right. Take a couple of breaths here, keeping your hips settled toward your heels. And lifting up, and here shifting over to the other side, just a little ways over. Maybe this side is a little bit easier, maybe it's a little bit harder, just honoring where you're at today. And then coming back through center, coming all the way up. Taking a couple of breaths here, maybe taking 3 cat-cows. Finding a little movement in the spine. And then we're going to come all the way down onto our backs. So we're going to use this blanket again, so put it off to the side. Coming all the way down, knees toward the ceiling, feet on the floor. We're going to take our blanket roll and we're going to put it right beneath the sacrum. So this is going to be like a little cushion for us. This could be a block on its lowest setting or second highest setting. You want to really kind of settle yourself in so you feel that support on your sacrum, the top of your spine, the base of your back here. And start to walk your feet out. Starting with the left, then the right. You can keep your hands alongside, or you can take your hands up overhead. Interlace your fingers inside out for a nice deep stretch. We're going to be here for about a minute, and then we're going to do some shifting. Now, if this is too much, you can always bend your knees just a little bit or a lot, depending on what you need. Here's where we switch a little bit. So we're going to bring your right knee into your chest. Here you can reach behind the knee or in front of the knee, just pulling it in, giving it a little stretch. This will help open up the front of the left side and the whole right back side. So the back line on the right and the front line on the left. Gently start to release your right leg out. Let it come out long. Here again, just taking a few breaths in the center. And then we're going to switch sides, pulling in the opposite side, bring it into the chest. Hand behind the knee or in front of it. Maybe feeling into noticing which side is the side that you have SI joint issues on. For me, it's my left. And so I feel the blanket sort of pressing into that, giving a little myofascial release, sort of depressurizing that space. Preparing to release and let go. Once again, stretching legs out long. And then slowly bending your knees, bringing your feet flat to the floor, pressing through your feet firmly, lifting your hips just a little bit, enough to take that blanket off to the side. And then shifting your hips over toward the right a little bit. Bring your knees towards your chest and drop your knees over toward the left. Now here you can use your left hand on the outside of the right thigh, or otherwise you can turn and look over your shoulder. We're looking for to try to get a little bit more of both legs sort of aligned together. Rocking your head side to side a few times, helping your neck stretch out. And then slowly releasing and coming back through center. And then gently shifting your hips this time over to the left, bringing your knees a little bit closer, dropping those knees this time to the right, taking your right hand to the outside of the left thigh and twisting. Maybe using that blanket as a prop if your knees don't come all the way down to the floor. Once again, turning your head to the left and to the right a few times. Releasing whatever hold you have and slowly coming back through center. Taking your feet wide, dropping your knees together in constructive rest. Just noticing. Taking one deep breath, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth with a sound. And then gently rolling over to your right side, making your way up to whatever seat feels best for you. Maybe using that blanket for a little prop for your seat. Bring your hands together at heart center, bowing your head. Acknowledging that you've taken care of yourself and you've honored your body where it's at in this moment in time, caring for it, and your body will respond by caring for you. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with me. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope this helps keep you on the road to recovery and preventing a flare-up. It's a good one to use anytime if you know you have SI issues, or also to use as you feel those first twinges to sort of keep that alignment. Keeping your hips in alignment, not having one leg out to the side or another out to another position, you're going to kind of put less pressure on the SI joints as they are, and give them also a little bit of myofascial release with the blanket, a little support. So wishing you a wonderful week, and thank you for joining me for practice today.